Our next speaker will be Ms. Suzanne Scholte, President of the Defense Forum Foundation, a regular at one of our rallies.
Thank you for this great honor to join you in solidarity in our call to China's Communist Party to end their persecution of Falun Gong. It's my great honor to recognize my dear friend, Dr. Lily Zhang. She and I have been working in the human rights field for many years, and we got to know each other through our work helping those being persecuted and imprisoned because of China's communist leadership. For Lily, it was the Falun Gong practitioners. For me, it was the North Korean refugees and the humanitarian workers from South Korea, Japan, and America who've been murdered in China or sent to prison simply because they were helping refugees who escaped from North Korea. So often, my friends jailed in China have shared about meeting Falun Gong practitioners there. And so often, Lily's friends jailed in China have shared about seeing helpless, terrified North Korean refugees who would soon be forced back by China to North Korea to face certain torture, imprisonment, and even execution due to China's illegal and inhumane repatriation policy. And speaking of illegality and inhumanity, I think it's important to just mention one individual case of the hundreds of thousands of arrests, disappearances, and the over 3,000 well-documented deaths of Falun Gong since the Communist Party of China began their persecution July 20th, 1999. Sometimes the sheer number makes us forget the individual harm each of these hundreds of thousands of innocent people have had to endure. Here's just one example reported recently by AFP. When she refused to sign a form renouncing her faith, Wang Zhengying was handcuffed between two bunk beds for 16 hours, deprived of food, water, and sleep, as she felt her wrists bleeding. She said the police would kick the beds apart to the point that her body couldn't stretch any further. The pain she had to endure was beyond words. The handcuffs, she said, already touched the bone, and the police kept tightening them to make them hurt more. She spent more than 5 years in Masanjia women's camp, where detainees are hit with electric prods on the face, hung by the arms, shackled to seats bent forward and forced to sit on tiger stools in which prisoners were handcuffed into painful positions for hours. She and her fellow practitioners at the prison camp were forced to listen to anti-Falun Gong videos from 8 to 11:30 a.m. and then had to work making artificial flowers until 9 o'clock at night. According to another prisoner at that same camp, the Chinese government is afraid for people to know about this because it violates the law and their own consciousness. That is why what you are doing here today is so important, to raise awareness of this horrific abuse that the Chinese government does not want the world to see. As I pointed out when I have addressed you at rallies before, the Falun Gong has been in the front lines of the battle for human rights in China. It's not a role that you chose, but one that was forced upon you when the CCP launched their cruel, unprovoked, and violent crackdown in 1999. As Falun Gong founder Li Hongzhi said, they're not against any government. They have no enemies. Yet they've been drawn to the front lines because of the persecution and torture against them simply for practicing the most important freedom we have, the freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. America's founding fathers believed that was the first freedom. It was God-given right and the most important freedom because all freedoms are derived from it. As a Christian, I'm greatly inspired by a resolve to respond to the horrific crimes being committed against you through peaceful means and steadfast advocacy. All of us who believe in this fundamental right must support and advocate with you for the end of the persecution of Falun Gong. Lily, we will continue to fight with you for the rights of the Falun Gong practitioners and the end of this campaign of tyranny by the CCP. Thank you, and may God bless you in your noble and courageous efforts.